Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shinyuru Kudano. As a one-time student in United States of America, I love putting out content that could be helpful to international students. Today, I'll be speaking on F1 interview questions for you international students that want to study in United States of America. After applying for your visa, you need to start preparing for the interview. Here are a few things you need to take note of, how you need to prepare for F1 visa interview. First, you should know that there are two things that the consular officer will be trying to gauge. First is they want to establish that you are a genuine student, you have actually applied for this visa genuinely, and that you're not looking for fraudulent ways to enter into the United States. You do not have other plans beyond studying in the United States. Secondly, they want to make certain that you have plans to return back to your home country after your study. Now, that is because F1 visas are strictly for international students that want to come in to study. Of course, things can happen beyond that. Maybe you get a job. They may go as far as even filing your papers to make sure you have resident card or you become a citizen in the long run. Yeah, that's fine. But at this point, they are not looking for that. And that is why the focus has to be only on what F1 visa entails and offer, which is coming down here to study. Having said that, you should know that there are 5 different aspects that questions can stem from that interviewers will be using to gauge those 2 things we have talked about. They will be focusing on your study and plans, your admission, study and work finances, and importantly, your post-graduation plans. Of course, there may be other general questions, but those are the 5 major areas they will be picking questions from. Let's dive into it. Now, questions on your admission and your program. They could ask you questions like, what program are you attending? You can give them answers like, I'm applying to study biomedical engineering at the University of North Texas. That is my school, by the way. Or you could tell them, I've been admitted to study Bachelor's of Science in Biomedical Engineering at University of North Texas, and I want to pursue the program. That is why you're applying for the visa. Make sure that you already start making good impression from the start, because one question builds into another and they are gauging for 2 things that we have talked about at the beginning of this video. Tell them you have been accepted into that program and you would like to attend the program. They could also ask you, did you apply to other universities? Remember, we have said that they want to establish that you are truly a student, you are genuinely a student. Mention the number of universities that you applied to. Maybe I applied to 5 other universities. And then they may want to ask, did you get accepted into the others? Or did you get accepted into any of the others? If you have had just 1 or 2 admissions, you don't need to panic. Just tell them what you have. One thing you also want to do is you want to be sincere in your answers, because they can look into your records and you don't want them to find out that you are lying. So be truthful, be honest. You do not need to list the other universities. You just need to say the number. If he or she wants you to list them, it's going to tell you, and then you can list them then. Another question they could ask you is, why do you want to study in the United States of America? Why not study in Canada? Why not study in your home country? Don't panic, just answer as it is. Don't focus on telling them about United States of America. Focus on what you like about your school, about your course of study. Make sure you know some things about your school. It could be a particular professor that you dream of working with, that appeals to you. Notable things about that school that will give you an edge. I need to answer that question of why do you want to study in the United States. They really don't want to hear every other glamorous things about United States. No, it can give them that vibe that you may run away, and that you want to avoid. It's critical to getting your visa, and that's why you want to answer that question effectively. You want to tell them what your goal is, your lifelong goal, how what you want to study supports that goal. If you have scholarship, include it in your answer. If you have been talking to specific professors, or if you are interested in a particular research that is going on in that school, include it in your answer, because They are gauging your interest in what you are pursuing, what you want to pursue. Also, whatever graduation plans you have after this, maybe for instance, you have plans to come work for your company. It could be where you're working currently. You want to put that in your answer as well, because as much as they are gauging that you're a genuine student, they also want to see the things that suggest to them that you have plans to return back to your home country. Make sure that you are able to answer effectively to this question by practicing. Write out what your answer might be to these kind of questions, and make sure that you internalize it, you read it, understand it. Not necessarily cram, no, because you want to sound genuine and real when you're talking to them. This is the second part that would have likely established that you're a genuine student or not. Questions that will be evaluating your finances. They may ask you questions like, who will be sponsoring you? Or how do you plan to finance your education? Now, they're asking those questions to be able to see if you're able to finance your education. Now, you could have sponsors. I know there is what they call the sponsor form that you fill, bank statement. That is very okay. You can present all of those, and make sure you have the proofs in case they want to see a document. You want to have that with you. Now, they want to be able to see that you really can finance your education, because they don't want you to come down to the United States and be a burden on the government. It will be wrong for them to give you a visa if that is the case. So if you have scholarships, you have grants, this is the time to also talk about those, because those are provisions that have been given to you to support your finances, to be able to see you through your schooling in the United States of America. Also, they know that those who do not have good financial strength are most likely just looking for an excuse to get out of their home country to immigrate to United States of America. That is why those questions are critical to your getting that visa. If you have people paying for your education, now is the time to mention it. Also, if you have loan as part of the plan in paying for your education, you have to say it. And if the interviewer officer probes further into how they will pay for your study, you want to list to the interviewer what assets your sponsors have, what they like, if they own a school, they own an organization. You have it on your documents, but you have to still say it, you have to share it, because most times they don't ask to see your documents. Yes, I've been to visa interview that they did not even ask me for any of my documents twice. No documents. So please make sure you know all of these things and you can answer them very well. Make sure you are confident in your answer, you are calm and collected. You do not want to panic, because they are also looking at your body language. And if you meet with a visa officer that is really thorough, they may want to know what their income is, how much money you own in the bank. You want to make sure you are on top of these questions and you can answer them confidently, calmly. Don't be nervous. You should remember, the better your financial situations, the better your chances of getting that visa, because they know that you are also showing ties, that you have plans to come back. So if your parents own houses, things that you have declared maybe in your documents, this is the time to also say them. Don't think, well, they have the documents, they can see them. No, they are asking you because they want you to tell them. So you tell them whatever assets the person or organization own. Make sure you tell them if it is houses that you have at home, because already they're also gauging your financial ties back to your country and if you have plans to return. They may also want to know how much your program costs each year. So make sure you are familiar with what is on your I-20. Give them that figure. If he or she asks you questions on how you plan to cover your living expenses, housing, books, insurance, make sure you're able to establish that your finances will cover that as well. Now, you should understand that here you don't need to tell them about an on-campus job that you are hoping to get. Don't list that as part of your finance plans, because you don't have that on-campus job yet, right? You may be showing weak financial situation. They may ask questions on your academics and work, what you have currently or what you have done up to this point. They want to ask about where you studied, want to know where you got your bachelor's degree if you're going out for your postgraduates. But if you're working, your own questions might be more focused on your job, like where do you work? Your current job title. They may want to know how much you are earning. So you want to answer those questions confidently. Just tell them exactly the truth, what you're doing. Just be confident and collected in your responses. Like, I work in so and so. Currently, this is what I earn. Now, my favorite question. Do you plan to work in the United States after graduation? I'll share a simple story. In my case, as a family, we didn't have plans to stay back. It was more like we're coming to explore, learn, go to school and everything. But then it was in the event as things started unfolding that we decided to stay back. So it was much easier for us to say no to that question. Now, how you answer that question is answer that question based on what you know about F1 visas. F1 visas are for you to come study and return back to your home country. So you don't want to give them any impression that you do not have that plan to return back to your home country. Because I would imagine you don't have the visa yet. Now you're talking about a job that you have not even gotten, you have not even started studying yet. So I would take that plan one after the other. I'm applying for F1 visa. Definitely, if the visa says I'm supposed to go home, yes, that is what is going to happen. And of course, those who are getting scholarships like Fulbright scholarship know that very well that is expected of them. So answer the question, focus on what the details of F1 visa is and answer accordingly. When I came in as an F2 student, I was asked that question actually. I told them I wouldn't be working in the United States. Things have changed since then. I'm no longer an F2 student. I changed my status to F1 student. I went to school. I'm working now. So take things the way they are and take it one step at a time. I may be asking you general questions. Questions like, do you live with your parents? How many siblings do you have? They could also ask you questions like, what was your GRE score, your TOEFL score, your standardized test score, maybe SAT or ACE. For those who want to pursue bachelor's degree here in the United States, make sure you answer confidently, but keep your answers short. No big deal. Now here are my tips. On your interview day, make sure you don't tell lies. Tell the truth. Everything, just say it the way they are because they can easily find out for themselves. 2, bear in mind that this is a student visa and you should answer questions accordingly. Anything that you say in your responses to their questions that violates the requirements for this visa is going to make them deny your visa. It's going to reduce your chances of getting this visa. Also, you want to answer confidently but calmly. Don't be overall pushy. You don't want them to see you as desperate. You want to answer confidently but calmly. Thank you for joining me on this channel once again. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't for more videos like this. There are other videos on my channel about F1 and F2 visas, students visas, green card, faith, live, songs. Please check out my channel and share my videos as you see fit. Thank you. Bye-bye.